Mozi Talent. Tell us about that, and I'll go from there.
It's literally just right now our talent funnel. So for our portfolio companies, essentially we do the recruiting for the leadership and specialized roles.
Mm-hmm.
Just scope creep probably.
Yeah.
That's okay. Like I want to help. And
you guys are placing all the operators, right? Just to be clear.
yes.
Yeah.
So leadership, which is often somebody comes to us, a lot of people do need like an operator.
Mm-hmm.
Some founders come in like 2s or 3s. So we have a few of like 3 founders and 2 founders. Those tend to be honestly the best scenarios because there's usually a natural operator in there. But a lot of the ones that come to us, especially when it's a single founder, they need an operator. And so Mozi Talent kind of was just born in that. My vision when we started acquisition.com was that we recruited their leadership teams, because with our first 2 companies, it was so painful because I would tell them who they need to hire. Here's the JD, here's all that. It would just be the wrong person.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, you know what? We know what good looks like. They don't yet. Let's help them find these people as a piece of what we do. And it worked out really well because, we're able to see not just, is this the right person for this role, but is this the right person for their company? Because we know their values, we know their culture, and we know the founder. And so it worked out better than using any outsourced recruiting firm to just take it in-house and help do that. Because that was kind of what I was going to do in the beginning, is just outsource to a recruiting firm.
Yep.
But then I was like, we know them better, and I understand recruiting. Like, let's just do it in-house. And so Mozi Talent is really, if people sign up for it, they are first on like our list for picking for the new roles that open up in our portfolio companies or in acquisition.com. And so then they're basically like, they get first dibs at the jobs. That's really what it is. And it's being built out right now because essentially what I'd like to build it into is a talent community where we can teach people skills. We can add value to them in different ways of like, this is how you build a resume. Here's interview tips, and then even job specific skills at some point to be training them on those things. It's not a need yet, but it's where it's going.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it works out really well because, even if they don't get the job or whatever, like even a lot of them have said going through the interview process alone has been very beneficial for them because we give them feedback. You know what I mean?
I love that. And look, you got you guys' content funnels creates deal flow, but also creates talent flow as well. And you're doing something with that. And that actually brings me to my next point. Actually, my friends, I was like, oh, Layla does this Mozi Talent thing. I want to learn more about it. He's like, well, get the macro steps from her on how to build talent pipeline. So
the macro steps on building a talent pipeline.
Yeah.
I can tell you the biggest secret for building a talent pipeline.
Go for it.
Is have a brand.
Okay.
I recruited every person myself. Gym launch day 1. 2 young founders, no track record, no brand, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Just tough.
Yeah.
Then every year watching it transform to when gym launch was bigger, feeling like, oh, we have people coming to us now. When it started to gain success, I was like, people are coming to us. And so my actual goal for every portfolio company is that they eventually have the inbound funnel, which is what we really have right now. We have a lot of inbound. Now you can do more to get more qualified inbound. In terms of a talent funnel, I think that people, if you have no brand and you have to just macro step by step build a talent funnel, it is literally no different than an acquisition funnel for clients. It's like you have, they see an ad, it's calling out an avatar, you click on the ad, it does a qualification process for that. You can set up a time right that I just mirror the exact same thing. And I think for me, when I first started building it for Gym Launch, when we had really no brand or following or anything, I just looked at what we were doing for ads and I said, I'm just going to do that for jobs. That's it. One for one. Mm-hmm. Even in terms of how intricately I wrote copy. So a fun fact for you is that the one job description I've wrote the most times and tried and hired for the most is an operator. And when I have asked them what caught your eye, because I always ask people, why did you apply for this job? And I find really interesting is that they all said it was the ad. And you know who wrote that ad? Me, who's interviewed the most operators. And so it really does, in my opinion, a lot of it comes down to people take all the steps I tell them to, but they forego how thoughtful they are in writing the copy. I really pay a lot of attention to the copy, like the headline that catches their attention, the copy below that, and then the job description copy itself. Because people think, they're like, oh, nobody reads it. But they read every line.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not kidding you. They read every line of that job description. And so I write the job description in a way that I know appeals to people. I also build a job in a way that appeals to people, but
Right.
it also appeals in the way I write it. I'm not going to write it in like a monotonous tone that sounds like everything else when you Google it. And so I think that a lot of people don't pay attention to the steps there. You know, it's like, I think that they put up the ads, they put up the job, they put up the pay, and they forget the little things like speak to the person that you want to hire. And then they will be the ones that apply.
Mhm.
I've even had it where I've posted for, you know, C-level $500,000 a year roles on Indeed. And because the copy was so good, someone randomly applied who was qualified and
Yeah.
fit the persona.